All right. Mardu Knights. This is a deck that 5-0'd one of the MCQ events. I'm looking to attack people. The Mythic Invitational Qualifier thing is this weekend, and we'll see. Honestly, who knows what's going to happen with that, right? It'll be interesting to see if Wizards pivots their stuff to be online, because big in-person stuff's not going to happen anytime soon. So, yeah, we give up Embereth Leave to have Lurrus. It gets to play Fight as one. I really like this card. I think it's a sweet combat trick, so let's go ahead and pop into some break matches, see if we could play some of this without wanting to claw our eyes out. I like that a lot of this deck is black and white, because that means it doesn't get Aether Gusted. Couple of red cards, but not a ton. Just a Purr. Thanks for the tier 2 and for the 2/3 video of that. Welcome back. What does Jund Lurrus look like, J-Wall? Is it similar to the historic deck? Are you playing like a food package, or what's the deal? Is it a mid-range deck? Is it an aggro deck? Describing decks as color combination and then companion isn't really helpful. Need some more detailed and specific information than that. Not wanting to claw our eyes out is an interesting bar to settle for. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Magic's a lot of variance. It's very similar to gambling. So, like, if we find something that's, like, fine to play and it's kind of aggressive, I wouldn't mind trying to run people down. Yeah, opponent is playing, looks like Planeswalker control here with their free roll companion. Actually had an interesting talk on Twitter about this card. Apparently R&D intended for this card. Apparently R&D intended for this card to be played in creatureless control decks. And they knew that was a thing that was going to happen, and they were okay with it. And that seems really weird and silly to me, because someone from R&D also posted that they struggled to come up with enough companion restrictions. And I feel like those two things are at odds with each other. Like, both of those things can't possibly be true. Like, if you wanted creatureless control decks to have a companion, disguising it as a tribal card like this feels like a weird way to do it, when you could make this tribal card more specific to creature decks with its restriction, and then also create an additional companion for creatureless control decks. Yeah, and, like, I think it's fine to combine or, like, have a companion serve multiple roles, but, like, if you're having a companion serve multiple roles, that runs counter to the idea that you didn't have enough depth for the companion mechanic overall. So, like, which is it? Did we not have enough companion designs, or did we have so many that we had to double up? I have no idea. I don't do game design. $3,800 players are enrolled. Lol. I'm actually, so, Elizabeth, this is a standard deck that I threw into the deck queue myself because the Mythic Invitational Qualifier is this weekend as well, and I'm tentatively thinking about playing in that. Yeah, the Red Bull tournament is targeted at European players. So while people in any continent can play, it is intended for people who are in Europe, so the time zone is Europe friendly, as opposed to US friendly. Feeling pretty dead. Sure, Misha, but like that doesn't matter. Like what you're saying is irrelevant to the discussion that I'm having. So like once you identify that this card is capable of being played in a creatureless control deck, once you've identified, you're like, all right, this card goes in creatureless control deck. Like, all right, that's a feature we want. That's a feature we want to double up on. And in my opinion, that is logically inconsistent with we don't have enough companion designs. You can't look at a companion design and go, this companion design works for multiple things when it doesn't have to, and then also say we can't design more of these, they're hard to design. Those two statements are both things that they did that are at odds with each other. So either you have plenty of companion designs and could design more of them because you doubled up in this instance, or you don't, you missed it. Like, also, like, this is also like the same R&D team that like let Oko and Once Upon a Time and Veil of Summer out of the design. So like, I'm gonna be honest, I also think there's a possibility like they missed it and then decided to say they didn't miss it. I have no idea how we're sideboarding here. Honestly, it might just be right to click submit. Our deck doesn't have that many cards. Against, like, our main deck is set up for control decks for the most part, which is kind of disheartening considering we're set up for control decks and then we still just got dumpstered there. Like, maybe Despark is okay, but probably not. Always up to watch cool standard decks lose to Teferi. Yeah. Yep. J-Bob Banana, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Marty, 49 months. That's long enough for like 10 messed up standard cycles. Ain't that the truth? Right? That seems pretty good. But was having an easy to check roll. I think that's nonsense. I just disagree with that. I don't understand why saying like your deck has to have a creature in it is more complicated than your deck has to only have even costed creatures in it, or your deck has to have only odd costed creatures in it. The best way to hold priority when playing Wilderness Reclamation, click on your end step and put a stop on it. Is the answer to your question. Beansy, thanks for the very generous tier 3 and for the 3/4 of a year at that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You should always assume you could wake up to Trump being a petty man-child. That's the equivalent mental efficiency of a grade schooler on Twitter. The man is like a textbook junior high bully. And many of his supporters see in him what they wish they could do to other people because they're petty, hateful, obnoxious people themselves. Hairball, thanks for the 19 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Zed Rate, thank you for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Joe Chico, thanks for the half a year.
I am not. No, I am not making this up as I go.
It sucks that they bounced my non-human. Wait, are they dead? This is this is lethal, right? Yeah, tank, kill you. Tank, kill you. Thanks, Bosom. Bosom? That's probably Bosom. Thanks for the 22 months, Fuzzy Thantos. Welcome back. I think I'm happy with no sideboarding. I think we're cool with this. Maybe God's Willing is supposed to be good here. Maybe. Nah, I might click submit. That sounds fine. I don't know. I'm pretty. I think the take that this mechanic could let people cheat so you can't do it. I fundamentally disagree with that. Something you should allow to limit design space in Magic in general. Paper magics, like paper TCGs are like a cesspool of cheating, and like people are gonna cheat regardless. I think trying to limit your design space because you're worried about people cheating is not a good thing to be doing. I agree. I agree with your statement, Misha. Just for the record, I agree with your statement that one is easier to enforce than the other there. That makes sense. It's logically consistent. But I also think that my opinion is that regardless of your statement being true, I think that's a bad reason to not use a design like that. I'm gonna power up the Skyknight Vanguard. I think if they sweep the board, I'm more inclined to save Skyknight than I am to save Inspiring Veteran. So I'd rather keep that. Oh, yeah, that's a super good observation here. So, yeah, so this lets me just full counter their Clarion, too. Shiggity, Shrek, get wrecked. That's a really good catch. I didn't think about that aspect, but that's actually super relevant. If I do play the tournament this weekend, I'm probably registering 4 copies of this card. Yeah, I agree. This card just does all the things I want to be doing. Love it. Yeah, I think enforcing the 4th copy rule is a good example of arguing that, like, companion restrictions being difficult to enforce or not worth doing because of cheating don't really make sense. Thanks for the 7 months like it is. We'll try and keep it like it is. And this deck feels okay. We're gonna play it on Saturday. If it doesn't feel okay, we'll probably just skip the event on Saturday. What event? Saturday's the MCQ, where if you go 10-1, you win an invitation to a tournament that is worth thousands of dollars at a minimum, or, you know, close to 6 figures if you win. And if you get 9 wins, you get almost $20 worth of gems. So the difference between going 9-1 or 9-2 and 10-1 is just, you know, a few thousand. What's a few $1,000s between friends, really? Okay, so I think we start here. Do I offer this trade? I think the answer is no, because next turn I can go Veteran and then protect it with Fight as one. We have Questerson here, just Ceratops. Okay, so we'll play this. We'll play this. 10-1's not even insanely difficult. It's just from an objective perspective, it's incredibly high variance. I don't understand your question like it is. What do you mean, what's with it? Can you be more constructive or specific? So if I attack with all of these and they go eat this, eat a 1/1, they take 4 exactly, which powers up the knight. So I think this is worthwhile. And if they eat this, I get to put a counter on my flyer, which feels good. Oh, you know what? I also just get to blow them out now, right? I do this, and I get to go power up. Oh, no. These are humans. Rats. I was thinking these ones aren't humans? Okay, yeah, that's it. Just, what's what? If they had blocked a non-human token here, we'd have been better off. If they had blocked a non-human, we would have been able to kill this and this. Oh, I have Cardboard Live off. Thanks for pinging me. Windows had to restart for updates. Can you believe it's the year of our Lord 2020 and this operating system still has to restart to install updates? What's up with that? Instead of me telling you you're wrong, Zadred, tell me why you're right. And you're not new, so take a break. Is that a good draw? Feels like an okay draw. What happens if they block? Okay, so they can give this reach. They give this reach, they go block here, chump here. They take 3, 6, 7, 11, and this dies. And if they chump with this, this also dies. They could say eat Inspiring Veteran, block here, and then they take 8, 9, 10 lethal. Okay, so their creature deck probably want to cut these drill bits. Definitely want these dire tactics. Probably want these Desparks. What do I want to trim here? This actually seems okay. Corpse Knight, maybe not great. Trim a Fervent Champion on the draw. So 27 creatures still seems good. This tag's Kira, and they'll always have it. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. I think not a super huge fan of this card, I don't think. And this is a combat trick, right? Which can be relevant. I would be very surprised if Companions survive in Legacy. Would be very, very surprised if Lurrus survives in Legacy. That seems very reasonable. Which figure? They are a fire stack. You're not wrong. Oh, no! Oh, no! Our greatest weakness, chat. Our greatest weakness. Man, this card. They stated that leagues will be restarted upon the announcement of bans. Yeah, that's expected. Okay, so they missed their third land, so that's nice. I don't think I want an Inspiring Veteran here. I think I'm supposed to just Worthy Knight. This is standard Tumos. A burn spell here. Alright, well if it was the last play, right play last turn. I mean, to be fair, 2 lands, Grazer, Gripful, or Removal is like pretty good hand. Land. Harsh but fair. They found a land. Hey, so did we. I think I just need to be resource efficient this turn. Hey, a Magical Cow. Thanks for 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. To the person that just got timed out, I'd prefer if we don't talk about that content creator in my spaces. They are not a pleasant individual. We're gonna wait to play Lurrus until we can protect it. I need to work on my critical reading skills. I spent hours last night building 2 different decks, not realizing neither of them worked because I misread the card. Lol. I just like Unbreakable Formation and smash them here. Kind of feel like that's where I'm at, huh? Yeah, it gives us some better blockers too. I think that's a pretty. Yeah, the alternative is just like sitting here holding up Fight as one, which isn't great. Quartzwood Crusher here, if it tramples over, is scary, but we have some pretty chunky blockers now. I always put the less popular formats first, JMP, regardless of what they are, for whatever reasons they are. Just for reference. You have a 10th removal spell in your hand to punish my triple block instead of my quad block. Numbers going down a little bit due to the standard format. Yes. That deck seems fine. Yeah, my normal business model just doesn't work well for the standard format. Like, this Mardu Knight's deck seems neat and fun. I think I can play this on Saturday, but like I'm not Crokies, right? Like, I can't just sit here and hammer the same deck for hours on end every day. That's not what my audience expects. It's not what I enjoy, if I'm being at all honest. So like, if you're someone that enjoys the play patterns of the best deck, the standard format's probably fine. Not even just memes, just variety, right? Like, the reason why my stream is successful is in large part due to the fact that I cycle through so many decks in a day and there tends to be a lot of variety on it. Thanks for the 28 months. Griffin said, welcome back. Standard is dull and companions are great. I agree. Big agree. Thanks for the 30 months, Waterfalls. Sure, and I mean, like, that's, you know, not every content needs to appeal to every type of person, right? If you're not someone that enjoys watching a single deck get tuned and honed, like, some streams aren't going to be for you, and that's okay. Like, what I do here doesn't appeal to everyone. For example, there's some people that don't appreciate hearing me shit down the throat of Donald Trump constantly on stream, so they probably watch other Magic channels, but I'm not going to stop dropping my pants and taking a crap on our president who's a big orange idiot. That's just like not what this channel's about. Hey, Boomer, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Yeah, if I play the tournament on Saturday, I'll stream it on a delay. How do I want to sequence here? So they took our Knight. They took our Knight, which is a little unfortunate. So I could play Foulmire Knight on defense. I could also just play another Skyknight Vanguard and Fervent Champion and get aggressive here. I think I just want to try and race them. I appreciate the compliment, JMP. And in general, I'd prefer to shy away from specific comparisons, though. Hey, Ivo, thank you for the very generous tier 3 sub for the 12th month of that. Let's make sure you got a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, probably pretty close to free roll, Jeg. I assume they're probably like a cat oven deck. Yeah, I don't get it, Time Lord. Like, honestly, I wish I could play the formats of Magic that these people feel like they're playing, where the most important thing in their games is card advantage, because I feel like a lot of formats of Magic have not been about card advantage for a very long time. Hey, thanks for the 30 months, Skip Dash. Welcome back. For people are talking about my response to Seth. I didn't write an article. I just like wrote a short tweet chain. So Saffron Olive posted a YouTube video that people keep asking me about, where he made the claim that Companion is the worst mechanic in the history of Magic, which anybody who's watched my content at all knows that I fundamentally disagree with that. I really like the mechanic. I think it's a neat design space. It's a neat addition to the format. And I kind of dissected some of his points in there and talked about my viewpoint on them. The entire Twitter thread and the ban announcements was Companion being banned. Do you think that's the case? Yeah, I'm expecting them. I would expect companions are going to get banned in Legacy and Vintage. They announced bans next week for Legacy and Vintage. They announced the formats in advance now. I would expect companions to be banned in Legacy and Vintage. Probably want Shieldbreaker against their open deck. They explicitly did not mention coming bans for Modern, which I think is a good thing. I responded to their ban list announcement too. I posted about that. I think I cut this because it's an X1 against the Mayhem Devil deck. I think it'll be actual cards or just the mechanic. No, they'll ban specific cards. They're not going to ban the companion mechanic as a whole. Isn't Apostle great here? Oh yeah, I guess it is, huh? In my head, that's mostly an anti-Uro card, but yeah, I guess it's fine here as well. I don't know, how much graveyard stuff do they really have? I agree. I think companions have been a huge net positive for Modern. I'm also told companions have been a net positive for Pioneer, but I haven't played Pioneer. But I've heard people say they've had a similar impact in Pioneer. Just got into Pioneer on Moto, and there's been a lot of diverse decks, so you're happy with it so far. Protection from Black's probably good here too, sure. Yeah, if we get a game 3, we'll bring the what's it called in, sure. Jumpstart is going to be between M21 and rotation. Yes, I believe so. I believe that timeline sounds accurate. Hey, Meatwad. Welcome back. They didn't take the bait, chat. There was fear in their dojo, and to be fair, probably rightfully fearful. They have a removal spell here. I could get a little bit punished for my sequencing, because they get to kill my Corpse Knight in response here, but I think the potential upside to them not having a removal spell is high enough that it's worth taking the risk here. Have we cast Lurrus yet? No. We've won two matches. I've not cast it yet. Hey, thanks for the 14 months, Geodude. Sure. I think I take that exchange. So I definitely want to Dire Tactics the Mayhem Devil. The question is, do I want to shock in a land and play the Worthy Knight as well? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes. And then I'll plan to block this so I don't die to Heartfire. I'd be surprised if Lurrus isn't worth it. Alright, so dead to Heartfire. So because I'm dead to Heartfire regardless, I think I just say no blocks. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they're just dead on board. Right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That last attack's an interesting decision point where it's like, well, if they don't play the Dreadhorde Butcher, I definitely block because that way I'm not dead to Heartfire. But because they played the Dreadhorde Butcher, I was dead to Heartfire regardless, so I lose my incentive to block. Hey, Daddy-O. What do I want to do here? Do I just, like, play Lurrus out? I feel like that's the answer. It's like attack for 5 and play Lurrus. Just gonna die, though. That's not anything better to do with my mana. I guess I could have, like, Unbreakable Formation to make my board slightly bigger, but that doesn't seem like a particularly good play. If they just play, like, Annex here, we're in a good spot, but... What are your thoughts on the new fusion? I don't think I'm gonna do it, Beansy. I think I'm just gonna fuse the Void Epic and call it a day. I might fuse the team attack epic too. The blue affinity one. Wanakis, thanks for the 1.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Feels like we're gonna fall short here without a couple of good top decks. I got another removal spell. Sorry, to people that are wondering what Beansy was talking about, there's a bunch of us that play Raid Shadow Legends in Hoaglandia, and that was jargon targeted at that game, not the affinity magic mechanic. Not to confuse those two things. Right. Raid Shadow Legends, not just an advertising meme, also an okay time waster game. Dire Tactics sounds good here. Foulmire Knight doesn't sound particularly great. God's Willing's probably fine, just like more 1-mana protection spells. Do I want to cut something else for another one of these? Probably. If I can keep Lurrus alive, the game's probably pretty easy, right? Is Shieldbreaker good enough for Cleave? That's a good question. It's tough because in order for Shieldbreaker to be good enough for Cleave, you have to assume that you're surviving a hit from Ember Cleave, which, like, isn't always the case. I'm gonna just leave one Unbreakable Formation. This is 26 creatures. I think that's fine. Maybe Foulmire Knight is actually good here. It's Death Touch, and it gives me another non-human to work with Fight as one. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the epics that you make to get the legendary, because you don't always have to go all the way. You can just, like, keep some of the guys in the middle, basically. Is this good enough? The fact that my turn 1 white source is tapped is a little bit awkward. Feel like I'm supposed to mulligan. Can I get my 7 back? Do you think if I ask really nicely I can have my 7 back? Alright, seems pretty good. Would I rather keep the swamp or the second plains? I think I'd rather keep the swamp. Alright, we all get into 6 because we have Lurrus. Thanks, companion. I appreciate you. I think I'm supposed to lead on this over this because I want to be able to attack into their Fervent Champion here. Getting punished for not keeping the second white now. I mean, the Luca mirrors are just so bad that people don't want to play them. I don't think it's a stretch to say. I know I have no desire to play them. Actual none. Yeah, most of our opponents were, so like, what part of the tough part here is like, we're halfway into the season and we're still in platinum, so like, we're really not getting good testing right now. Like, our opponent, no, only one of our opponents has been playing one of the better decks in standard. Most people are just playing other decks that are like, these are, I'm sick and don't want to play these other actual good decks. As we've often mentioned, you know, playing random matches on the ladder, not particularly good testing. This is a good draw, by the way. Fight is again, like, if I play on Saturday in the MCQ, I'm registering 4 copies of this card. I really like casting this card. This is a card that's been great in Historic, too. Correct, Type 2 Def. If you finish in the top 1200 for May, you qualify to play in an MCQ in June. So far, Lurrus has been good, and I've not missed Embercleave. Is the Jeskai Lurrus deck still a consideration for this weekend? No, it's not good enough, Beansy. It's not consistently aggressive enough, and the mana is not good enough. Tournament grounds goes a long way towards making aggressive decks like this more playable. I think I'm gonna pump the brakes here for a turn. Maybe I'm supposed to just attack with Skyknight Vanguard. I think I'm going to go ahead and God's Willing here, because I would like to scry. I'd also like to God's Willing while I have the chance to not get blown out by Stomp. So I think I'm going to put this into play tapped, and then next turn I can play Lurrus plus Hold Up Fight as one. The problem here is Runaway Steamkin's going to get to live up to its name now. They're going to get to cast a red spell and then make a bunch of mana. Yeah, I agree. This game's slipping away from us. And they have a cleave. We're very dead very soon. I don't know. When you say the mono green list, I don't know what you're referring to. I also haven't been following much standard because this format hasn't been much fun to play. Playing decks that aren't tiered has not been competitive. Wolf Biter, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. I think we're probably dead here. 7 lands drawn versus 2 lands drawn. The companions have playstyles, but you can't purchase them. Have you played the girl aggro deck that won the MTG Melee tournament you were looking at for stats? No, why would I play that? I'm probably supposed to lead on Worthy Knight there, actually. I don't know, this starts building up tokens too that attack sooner. This deck's felt reasonable, Hamblin. I like getting to play Fight as 1. Untapped land here would be great. I unfortunately can't drill bit here, and I can't hold up Unbreakable Formation. They're gonna growth spiral and then shatter me, and we're gonna curl up and cry in our aggro ball. Yeah, again, like, this is why having good data is nice. Like, deck won a tournament is probably fine is, like, objectively not true all of the time. A lot of the time, even, I'd probably say. Whoa, no shatter. You love to see it. You love to see it. Is cycling just not good enough? I don't think it's good. I think the above average draws with the cycling deck feel really good, but their average draw is embarrassing. One of the stats on the Melee tournament showed it had, on the Melee site, showed the deck had like a, something stupid like a 30% differential in win rate game 1 to game 2 or something like that. Alright, is Unbreakable Formation lethal? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm 1 short of killing them with Unbreakable Formation. We're gonna do it anyways. I think we're gonna do it anyways. And then we'll drill their bits. Well, nah, I should just hold it, right? Okay, fine. We'll attack like this. We'll drill their bits. We'll hold the formation in case they draw another sweeper. That's probably better. I like your bits, opponent. Got some nice bits. It's not even just about taking advantage of decks not prepared for it, Chivry. Like, the cycling deck is a very good game 1 matchup. That's why, one of the many reasons why I enjoy Magic as a best of 3 game as opposed to a best of 1 game, because there tends to be more play in best of 3s in the post-board sets. And actually, this is one of the reasons why I picked this deck up and I was like, oh, this might be okay. I actually think we just click submit here, Like, I think our main deck is, like, set up against these Yorion decks, and just, like, the sideboard is here for miscellaneous aggressive things. Like, maybe against fires, you, like, board in Despark, or maybe some tactics, depending on what they're doing. But drill these bits. Thanks, Space Ace. I think we just click submit here. Is Tajik not a knight? He is not a knight, and he doesn't he breaks Lurrus' restriction. Because again, companions have really real deck building restrictions associated with them. Yeah, this 8's good. 1, 2, 3. A little bit of protection. Yeah, I think we're gonna take a crack at playing the MCQ this weekend with this deck. I don't know that it's great, but it feels like good enough. It gets to play. I just like playing decks that I like constructed playable combat tricks. It's basically like that's my kink, chat. My kink is constructed playable combat tricks. And this is honestly probably the most constructed playable combat trick that we've had in a long time. Right, Digits? At the core of it, when you get into like the raid mid to late game, it's really like a numbers character building game more than anything. It's one of the reasons why I like it. Erdian, thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. Alright, I think we're leading on Worthy Knight here, because Skyknight rebuilds post-sweeper better. Spirinel, thanks for 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. I've not played Soul Siblings recently, Rage. Seems like a potentially fine card for that archetype. Probably more of a board card than anything, though, I'd imagine.
Mind and body should move with thoughtfulness before action.
You've been using Fight as one in Naya Winota. That sounds sweet. I'm into it. Am I playing around a sweeper? I think that's right, Waterfalls. I think we play into it this turn and make them have it. And then next turn, if they have it, we can go Lurrus plus Knight back from the bin.
Meditate and prepare.
Sick. Sick. All right, I'm gonna call it a day on this one. So this is the secret to competitive Magic, chat. Are you ready? Are you ready to learn about the secret to competitive Magic? When you have a tournament coming up and you found a deck that you like, stop playing it, because if you play it enough, Magic has enough variance, you're gonna lose and start to hate it. You're gonna play enough games and eventually just be like, nah, this sucks. So I'm gonna play this deck on Saturday, I think, and I'll probably spend some time theory crafting the sideboard and make sure that I have my ins and outs lined up and maybe adjust some of the details around the edges. But basically, fight as one aggro is what I would like to play, and this is the best fight as one aggro deck I've played in Standard, I think. And a big part of this is the fact that there's two things that make this deck feel pretty reasonable. Is the first is that something I've talked about in Standard is a lot of the decks that are trying to be aggressive don't have enough good 1-drops. And all of these 1-drops are super sweet. The other thing is the mana in 2 and 3 color aggro decks also has been lackluster in Standard. This deck gets to play Tournament Grounds to work around that a little bit. So feel like this meets the requirements I'd like to meet, and we're gonna play this one on Saturday. All right, what are we doing? I've got another Standard deck coming up here today. I have lower expectations for this deck, so we're gonna go ahead and run a quick ad break. When we get back, we are gonna play some Orphan Guard Elementals here. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in just a few.